Ezekiel chapter 32. ويحيى بثنتي عشر سنة باثني عشر حدث بأحد لحدث. And it was in the 12th year, in the 12th month, in the first to the month. Hayadabar Yahweh Lemor. The word of Yahweh was to me, saying, Ben Adam, son of Adam, Shahqina al Para'o Melk Mithraim. Lift up a lamentation over Para'o, king of Mithraim. Wa marta elau kafir goyim nidmethi. And thou shalt say to him, a lion or young lion of nations, thou wast like, thou becamest like, thou becamest like. Wahatta katanim bayamim, and thou art like the reptiles, in the waters. Watagah benaharotaka witidlah tidlahmaim baraglaka. Watirpos naharotam. And thou hast burst forth by thy rivers, and thou hast stirred up waters by thy feet, and thou hast trampled their rivers, or fouledst their rivers. Kohamar Adonai Yahweh. Thus Adonai Yahweh hath said, Uparashti aleka et rishati. Also I shall spread over thee my net, biqahal ammim rabbim, by an assembly of many peoples. وَهَعَلُوكَ بِحَرْمِي, and they shall bring thee up in my net. And I shall cast thee into the earth, cast thee off, or drop thee into the earth. Upon the faces of the field I shall hurl thee. وَهِشْكَنَتِي عَلَيْكَ كُلُّ عُوفَ الشَّمَيْمِ. And I shall cause all the flapper of the skies, every flapper of the skies, to dwell upon thee. وَهِشْبَعَتِي مِمَّكَ حَيَّةَ كُلِّ هَارِشٍ. And I shall cause the beast of all the earth to be satisfied from thee. وَنَاتَتِي et بَشَارَكَ عَلَيْهِ حَرِيمٍ. And I shall give thy flesh upon the mountains. وَمِلَّتِي Haggeot Ramutaka. And I shall make full, I shall make the valleys full of thy height. وهشقيتي ارتطافتك, and I shall irrigate the land with thy overflow. Midamaka, from thy blood. El-Harim, toward the mountains. Wahafiqim, Yimalaun Mimaka, and channels shall be filled from thee. Wikiseti Bikabotaka Shamaim, and I shall cover in thy extinguishing skies. I shall cover skies in thy extinguishing. وَهِقَدَّرْتِ أَتَكُوخَبِهِمْ, and I shall cause their stars to be darkened. شَمَشَ بِعَانَانَ أَكَسَنُّ, sun, by a cloud, or by the cloud, I shall cover it. وَيَارِخْ لَوْ يَعِرْ هُرُو, and moon, it shall not cause its light to enlighten. Kol Moreor Bashamayim, all the luminaries of light in the skies. Aqdirim Alaka, I shall cause them to be dark over thee. Wanatati Hoshaka Al-Arshaka, and I shall give darkness upon thy land. Num Adonai Yahweh, a declared thing of Adonai Yahweh. Wihika Ashati Leb Amim Rabbim, and I shall provoke the heart of many peoples. Bahavi Shivraka Bagoyim, in my bringing thy breach among the nations. Al-Harashot Atraloh Atam, upon the lands where thou hast not known them. Wahashimoti alaka amim rabbim, and I shall cause many nations to be appalled over thee. Umalkehem yish'aru alaka sha'ar, and their kings shall bristle hair over thee. Bu'of fi harbi alpanehem, in my causing to fly, or brandishing, in my causing my sword to fly over their faces. وَحَارَدُوا لِرْغَائِمْ, and they shall tremble by moments. إِيشَ لَنَفْشُو, a man for his soul. بِيوم مَّبّْلَتَكَ, in the day of thy fall, thy falling. Ki kohamar Adonai Yahweh, for thus Adonai Yahweh hath said, Herb Melech Babel Tavoka, the sword of the king of Babel is come to thee. Beharabot Gibborim Hapil Hamonaka. By swords of mighty ones I shall cause thy multitude to fall. Arith Egoyim Kulam. Terrifying ones of nations, all of them. Wishadalu et Gaon Mithraim. And they shall destroy the pride of Mithraim. Winishamad Kol Hamonah. And all her tumult or multitude shall be destroyed. Wahavadati et kol behematah. And I shall destroy all its beasts, or all its animal. Me al mayim rabbim, from upon many waters. Walo hetid lahem regel adam al-od. And the foot of man shall not trample them any longer. Uparasot behema lo hetid lahem. And the hoofs of an animal shall not trample them. Aza ashqi' mehem. Thus I shall make their waters subside or settle. Unaharotam kashem holik. And their rivers like oil I shall cause to go. Num Adonai Yahweh. A declaration of Adonai Yahweh. Betiti et erch Mithraim Shama ma'un shama erch mimloah. In my giving the land of Mithraim a desolation and a waste, a land and its fullness, a land from its fullness. Bahakoti et kolyot veva. In my striking all the dwellers in it. Wiyada'u ki ani Yahweh. Then they shall know that I am Yahweh. Qinahi, it is a lamentation. Waqonanuha, and they shall lament it, or with it. Benot hagoyim teqonenahotah, the daughters of the nations, they shall lament with it. Al Mithraim wa al kol hamonah teqonenahotah Num Adonai Yahweh. Over Mithraim and over her multitude or tumult, they shall lament with it. A declaration of Adonai Yahweh. Wayahi bithete eshere shana. And it was in the 12th year, Bachamisha ashar lahodeth, in the 15th day to the month. Hayadavar Yahweh le'amor. The word of Yahweh was to me, saying, Ben Adam, son of Adam, Nehe al Hamon Mithraim Ohoridehu. Wail over the multitude of Mithraim, and bring it down. Otah ubenot goyim adirim elershtatiyot et yor devor. It and the daughters of the nations, the daughters of the majestic nations, to the lower land, or the underworld, with the goers down of a pit. Mimmi na'amta, more than whom thou art beautiful. Rida wahoshukaba et arelim, go thou down and be thou laid with the uncircumcised, with uncircumcised ones. Betok halale harb yipolu, in the midst of slain ones of the sword they shall fall. In the midst of slain of sword they shall fall. Harb nitana ma shakuotah ukol hamonaha. She is given to a sword. Draw ye her away, drag ye her, and all her tumults, or multitudes. Yedabberu lo elegiborim, the strong of the mighty shall word for it, mitok Sheol, or to it, from the midst of Sheol, et ozerau, with its helpers. Yardu shakabu ha'arelim, halale harab. They go down, they lie down, the uncircumcised, one slain of a sword. Thamahathur wukol kahalah, there is Athur and all her company. Sibibotai, Kibrotai, around her, her graves, its graves. Kulam halalim, all of them slain ones. Hanophalim beharb, the ones falling by the sword. Atranitanu kivrota beyarkatebor, of whom her graves are given into the recesses of a pit. Wayahiqahalah sabibot qaburatah, and her company is round about her grave. Kullam halalim nofalim baharb, all of them slain ones, ones fallen by the sword, ones falling by the sword. Atarnatanu hittim be'ert hayim, which gave a dread, a terror in the land of living ones. Thama elam wukol hamonah, there is Elam and all her multitude. Sabibot qaburata, around her grave. Kullam halalim hanofalim baharb atrayardu arelim elher tahatiyot atranatanu hittitam beher hayim. All of them slain ones, the ones falling by the sword, which, uncircumcised, they go down, to the Netherland, where or which they gave their terror in the land of living ones. Waishu kilimatam et devor, and they carry their shame with the goers down of the pit. Betok halalim natanu mishakabalah, in the midst of slain ones, a bed or lying place is given for her. Bukol hamonah, in the midst of her multitude, in the midst of all her multitude. Sevivotai wikivarotaha, there his roundabouts of her grave, her graves are round about him. Kullam arelim halale herb kinitan hittitam ber hayim, all of them uncircumcised, one slain of a sword. For they gave their terror in the land of living ones, in a land of living ones. Vayeshu kilimatam et devor, and they shall bear their shame with the goers down of a pit. Betok halalim nitan, in the midst of slain ones, he is given. Tham meshach Tubal ukol hamonah. There is Meshach Tubal and all her host, or multitude. Sevivotai qivarotaha, round about him her graves. Kullam al arelim mahulale herb, all of them uncircumcised ones having been slain by a sword. Ki natanu hittitam ber hayim, because they gave their terror in the land of living ones, in a land of living ones. V'lo yishkavu et gibborim, and they shall not lie with mighty ones. Nopelim me'arelim, ones fallen from uncircumcised ones. That's interesting. I just noticed and I suspected, not sure if I remembered it, but the Greek text says they are laid with the giants that fell of old. So I don't know why the Hebrew text here, the Masoretic text, says they shall not be laid with the mighty ones, when the rest of this chapter repeats often enough that they shall be laid with the mighty ones and the uncircumcised. What's this note say? They shall not lie. Well, that's a possibility. Perhaps the not, the negation there, the law signifies a question where the response is the expected response is they shall be laid, or so will they not be laid with the mighty ones, those goers down from the uncircumcised? That makes sense. Yes, they will. Atar yardu shol bichle milhamatam ويتنو اتحربوتام تحت رهشهم, which they went down to Sheol by the weapons of their war, their battle, and they are given with their swords under their heads. Watahi awonotam ala atamotam, and their iniquities shall be upon their bones. Ki hetit Gibborim Berchayim, for a terror of mighty ones they were in a land of living ones. Wata betok arelim tishavar wetishkab et halale harb, and thou in the midst of uncircumcised ones thou shalt be broken, and thou shalt lie with the wounded of a sword, or the slain of a sword. Thamma, Thamma Edom, Malakaha, Wikol Nashiha, Atranitanu Bigavuratam, Et Halale Harab. To there is Edom, her kings, and all her princes, which they gave by their might. With the slain ones of a sword. Well, they were given in their might with the slain ones of the sword. That makes more sense. It's the nif'al stem there, so it's the passive. They were given in their might with the slain ones of a sword. Hemma et arelim yishkabu. These with uncircumcised ones they shall lie. We'et the yor debor, and with the goers down of a pit. Thamma nasike thafon kulam. To there are the princes of the north. To there are princes of north, kulam, all of them. Ukol Thidoni, and all the Thidonian, every Thidonian. Atrayardu et halalim behittitam migaburatam boshim, which they went down with slain ones in their terror from their might, ones being shamed or feeling shame. Vayeshkavu arelim et halale herb, and they lie down, uncircumcised ones, with the slain of a sword. Vayeshu kilimatam et yor debor, and they bear their shame with the goers down of a pit. Otam yirah para'o. Para'o shall see them. Winiham al kol hamono. And he shall be comforted over all his multitude. Halale herb para'o v'kol helo. Noum Adonai Yahweh. Slain ones of a sword, Paro and all his army, a declaration of Adonai Yahweh. Ki natati et hittiti bershayim, for I have given my terror in a land of living ones. But The Greek text says, I have given his terror. And what does this say? Wuhushakava batoka arelim et halale harab para'o wukol hamono nahum hadonai Yahweh. And he is laid in the midst of uncircumcised, with the slain ones of a sword. That's Paro and all his multitude, a declaration of Adonai Yahweh.